You know, I'm sorry for the weird camera angles that I always have. Like, I sit in bed so much and just think, like, who do I reach out to tell my stories about what happened in Scranton? All this stuff that these people just shouldn't get away with. And I think about Scranton and all this stuff that the judges and cops, the people who the community is supposed to trust and go to when there's problems and trust that they'll be there to give justice and protect them. And I keep thinking, like, I need to reach out to someone. My story needs to be told so that these people aren't continually these people aren't put in office again, or these people have or I have to file a lawsuit or something so that there's actually repercussions for their actions, for falsely accusing me of a crime, falsely accusing me of lying to purchase a gun, for not protecting me against harassers and abusers uh, that live next door to me. My neighbor, where I had to pull out a knife and then calling me the problem when I'm defending myself from these people. But it came across my mind today. So my next thing to do, because I've spoken to a bunch of lawyers, they all don't take my side, uh, and and then I get told, oh, the reason the lawyer's not taking your side is because you're guilty or whatever. And no, that's not it at all. The reason my lawyer isn't taking my side, my lawyer knows the truth. My lawyer knows that I spoke to him about purchasing a gun multiple times before I went to fill it out. My lawyer knows the advice that he gave me. He doesn't want to be accountable for giving me wrong advice. Uh, you could say, even though I don't think it was wrong advice at all, he told me that there's no way to find out if you're allowed to purchase a gun other than purchasing it and being accepted or denied. So I'm like, okay. And he looked at my background check and everything like that and said I was good, at least the information that was publicly available that he could find. But he doesn't want to be roped into this and have to testify in court and all that stuff, because I don't know, it's a waste of his time and he has better stuff to do. But keep in mind, this lawyer, and his name's in Scranton. Uh, Keep in mind, this lawyer is was promoted to, like, be in charge of the ethics committee or something to do with ethics in Scranton. He won't even testify the truth. He'd rather protect his own self-interest and business or whatever, and protect, like, his career and work on other cases instead of telling the truth in court to prove my innocence. Uh, to me, that's not ethics. Ethics is standing up for what's right and the truth, above any other self-interests or any other interests. And let's say that someone is threatening you that if you told the truth, uh, they'll kill you or something like that. Well, ethics wouldn't be taking their side because you're afraid for their life. Or let's say your boss, you're afraid of losing your job if you stand up and tell the truth. Well, not telling the truth isn't ethical. Like, you're taking the side of yourself. You're taking your own self-interest, and you're siding with your boss because your boss, like, you're afraid to lose your job. Ethics doesn't have any sides. Telling the truth and being courageous and brave, that's the only side. Honesty and integrity is the only side that there is with ethics. So my lawyer not wanting to speak up for the truth and what he knows to help prove my innocence is not ethical. And so we have this guy in charge of, like, the ethics committee in Scranton who is completely unethical. But anyway, what I was saying, I need to just drop this and let this go, as hard as it is for me to do, because I was looking, there's this guy, Boris, Borys, who I was told to write to for the Scranton Times Tribune newspaper, to contact him and tell him my story. I'm looking at his friends list on Facebook, and it's all a bunch of Democrats and people uh, who people who how do I want to say this? Well, people who classify people as insane to get their gun privileges taken away, people who want to take gun rights away from people and all that stuff. So I look at his friends list, and I'm like, there's not any hope like for me. There's not any hope of me to tell my story to anyone in Scranton. It's like the entire city is not on my side and won't even listen to me, and thinks that Republicans or people who favor Trump or people who like gun rights and people who oppose raising taxes and high taxes and all that. Uh, there's no one that I can get through to listen to me in Scranton or defend me in court, or uh, like if I was to file false allegation charges against the city. There's no one in Scranton that will help me with this. So it's just like a fruitless effort trying to talk to anyone within Scranton uh, to help with this. And also, I made my choice when I moved to Florida that I was moving to escape this and just move on with my life. Uh, and by doing this, by moving to Florida, I chose not to fight this and not to fight back. Uh, so I don't know why I'm still always haunted by all these things that I can do something and I can speak up and say something, uh, and that there's more to do, and that I can just speak up louder or find someone else to talk to, because I made like I made my choice to escape all of that. If I wanted to speak up and fight about it, I could have did so in Scranton, but also in Scranton I was in fear for my life, because when I speak out, there's a lot of people that went against me and everything like that, and I knew I needed to be strong and not scared, but there comes a point where like I've had multiple cars vandalized over the years, falsely accused of crimes of harassment and stuff by people because I disagreed with them about something that happened or whatever, uh, and just targeted for being rich. So uh, just driving around my BMW in Scranton and being called a rich white boy and privileged and all that, like it's crazy too. I was thinking the other day, like the mayor of Scranton, Mayor Paige Cognetti, uh, which she doesn't live in Scranton. She's not from Scranton, and somehow she just appeared out of the blue as to jump in as the mayor to replace a mayor who was uh, not expelled. Expelled isn't the right word, but uh, resigned for corruption. What the previous mayor was doing was, I believe, if I recall correctly, was he was charging businesses to operate within Scranton, so he was making money off of businesses by allowing them to operate in Scranton. So Mayor Paige Cognetti says that so last year she kept complaining about price gouging for toilet paper and all this stuff, but then now she's raising taxes uh, to help pay for the school. It's like a $619 million uh, project to make the schools up to par with building codes and all this stuff, raising taxes for all that, and renovating the Naog Pool Park on the taxpayers' money as well. Raising taxes is price gouging. Uh, so you can't be on like one side saying like, oh, price gouging is bad with toilet paper and all that, but then you're raising taxes and gouging the prices of the people of Scranton, the workers of Scranton, to pay for all these stupid nonsense stuff. That's kind of the thing though with schools. When schools get so big and so expensive, that the only way for them to stay in business is with more and more government funding. Because it's like, if schools were small, if there's a community need for a school, you can do fundraisers. Like if there's a community need for something, you could do fundraisers. That's the way that it worked in the past. Like that's the way churches raised money. And when churches raised money for like the underprivileged and the I guess underprivileged, if you want to use the word privilege like that, or the less fortunate people who didn't have enough money. If churches would do food drives, and if there's people in like if a hurricane comes or a fire comes and destroys someone's house, the churches would raise money for all that. But now these schools are so big, like you can't do a fundraiser for $619 million to save the city schools. But it's like, if this thing that the taxpayers are paying for is really that important, then the taxpayers will voluntarily pay for it, that they'll donate and fund it themselves if it's really that important to them. But instead, you're taking money away from the taxpayer for things that are important to you as the elected official. Anyway, I need to move on. I need to like, I think it's good for me to talk about stuff that happened in Scranton in my videos when it pops up in my mind and everything like that. I don't think it's a good idea or the best solution for me to be trying to reach out to lawyers in Scranton or newspaper writers, news stations, or whatever, uh, because there's no getting through. It's like, I don't want to make this comparison, but it's like, I'm going to make this comparison, even though it's probably not the best comparison or the most resonant comparison. But as a Jew, you're not going to be able to tell the Nazis that that the Holocaust is wrong, or that killing Jews is wrong. So that's how I feel like in Scranton. There's no me convincing these people that what they're doing is wrong, and there's no one that I could go to. It's not like, as a Jew, going to the Nazis trying to find a Nazi lawyer to fight this or whatever. There's none of that. There's it's a fruitless effort. So I'll talk about it on my YouTube channel, but there's nothing I can do. And the best thing for me to do is honestly to move on and not have this eat away at me all the time. Trying to do something about it, trying to have like some type of repercussions on the people in court that falsely accuse me of crimes, and who threatened to involuntarily commit me because I said that I was innocent. Uh, all right, take care, guys. Thank you, and good night. The important thing is that I'm here now and I'm safe now. Uh, and everyone that I know and care about knows that I left, and they know that they can leave as well. That it's it's not really worth fighting. There's people that there's businesses that I'm friends with though who just can't leave because their businesses are so tied to Scranton. They have all their relationships and connections in Scranton. They want to leave, but they can't because they can't rebuild their business somewhere else. I think probably the best choice is to leave and to build your business back up. I mean, I can't convince them to do that or whatever. I'm sure I can make a convincing argument. I just don't really want to make it. But that's just one thing that I was thinking about. Like, I tried to set an example when I left, that it's just too much and I have to leave, that there's no, and hopefully people would follow my footsteps and leave as well, instead of them being harmed and treated the same way as me.